Boom, sneak attack. See, I bet you were expecting us to be chitty chatting, and we weren't. We were silent like the G in lasagna.
Jeez. No.
You're welcome. It's October 6th, and this is another Tech Talk Tuesday. Thanks for coming, the 0 of you that are live. For those of you that come later to watch this, hi. What took you so long? I just have to ruin everything. So today we got 2 or 3 different topics to cover and a little bit of quote unquote breaking news. And I guess, you know what, we'll just hop right into it. And that's that. Boom, boom, boom. Shocker. It's an iPhone event. October 13th. Of course, they're not calling it the iPhone event, but that's what it is. I'm no Apple insider, but I can tell you that that's the case. Their announcement, you can kind of see it here, says, hi, comma, speed, further underscoring the need for good punctuation in advertising. So thank you, Apple, for that.
For speed, right?
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, it's a capital S speed. So it's like, is something going to be called that? Or maybe they're giving away pills. I don't know. I don't know. But, I think I don't know what Tim's up to. So I think the important thing, I think that the speed reference really comes from, if not the pills, then it comes from the expectation that the handsets will for really support 5G, unlike the slate of handsets that came out last year, and even some that kind of came out the year before that were enabled on the networks and would pop up and show 5G, but they weren't really. I'm like, you big lie. It just showed that you were basically in the vicinity of a 5G network, not indicating that your phone was actually using 5G. So if you did not know that, surprise, you've been living a lie. So this is it. Yeah. So I think that's what we'll see. We'll see some new handsets. There's the rumor, right, that we're going to see the largest iPhone ever, right? So I'm like, we've done this before. And I gotta say, I don't know how you feel about it, but like I actually like the Galaxy Note, like that format. Like I'm okay with that, but it's a behemoth, right? Like it's definitely like a mini tablet more than a phone. And I think Apple is approaching that land, and they're talking about a 6.7 inch. Now that's a diagonal, and of course they're going to have a weird probably resolution.
Another one to support.
Yeah, I was going to say. So your media queries are about to take a hit. Sorry, I think I just depressed Neil.
Yes, you did.
But if you remember in a past show, and maybe you don't, I don't know. If you'll remember, we had talked about the AirTags, and then I kind of thought that was going to come with the event that was, I feel like, just a couple of weeks ago. But now we're saying like, okay, maybe this is for real the time to launch this, which makes more sense given that this is the phone event, and really that the AirTags functionality and the part that scares Neil with the kind of mesh network of hunting people down has more to do with the phone than it does really the other kind of suite of devices like the iPad and whatnot. So October 13th, 10 a.m. Pacific. It's always 1 o'clock our time out here on the East. I mean, we're not in the East, like we're in the. Why are we in the West?
I mean, it's really even hard to call us Midwest.
But have you ever wondered that? Like we're definitely in the eastern part of America, yet we're the Midwest. Like, God, who names these things?
Dang you. Yeah, I don't know. Like for me, this is kind of just like, okay. I mean, the way that Apple's kind of like rolled everything this year with all of their like mini events for like each thing that's coming out just kind of like whelms me. Like, like it's like, oh, here's another thing. Like, so it's just kind of, for me, it's just like, okay, cool. Like we've been expecting this for a long time. I'm glad that you finally got around to it. I do think that COVID probably affected this a little bit, just for
Sure.
production problems. So that's probably where some of this like weirdness comes from, in the like rolling kind of year announcements as they've been doing, although they typically do that a little bit anyway. Yeah, I mean, for me, like I'm still on the X. I never got an 11, so for me, this again just whelms me. It doesn't like I'm not gonna be rushing out to get a new phone or pre-ordering it or anything like that. Yeah, I am not looking forward to, as you alluded to, updating all of my media queries and everything that we've done. So yeah, that's not going to be fun. But that's just Apple and them releasing a bunch of new things. One thing that will be interesting. Do we know? I guess we probably don't know, but have there been any leaks of the specs for these? So do we know like what kind of architecture they're going to be using? Are they going to be using ARM or?
I assume that it will be ARM. They're because their iPhone chips have been,
Okay.
they're custom. They've been using their custom silicone.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think we'll continue to see the device. I mean, clearly, if they're getting bigger too, it's like, man, at what point is it just a MacBook Air? But
well, that's the thing too. Is like we went from okay, let's get these things down as small as we can, and now we're like we need all of the big sizes.
Well, it's like the Futurama, where like they shove it in his eye,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Shut up and take my money," and they like puts the new literally eye.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. And it's like, but that's where we've kind of seen, miniaturization. I thought that was kind of the way it was going. And then it's like, nah, we joking. So
turns out
maybe it'll come with a sling, right? You can just throw it over your shoulder. It'll be a new accessory like that.
There you go.
I say that jokingly, but now I'm thinking.
Yeah, let's get on that. Let's get on that real quick.
Yeah, we need to be manufacturing cases that support a sling. So yeah, I mean that's really everything there. I guess we'll see what it has other than just another camera, right? So
yeah, let's add another camera to it.
Yeah.
So another tech giant news: G Suite is officially being rebranded by Google to be called Google Workspace. So what they're trying to do here is they're trying to merge all of their things into one and make it a seamless user experience for you. So you'll be able to, like, while you're in the middle of a meeting, like a Google Meet, you'll be able to like pop up and create documents just right there with their Google Docs. And if you're working on a Google Doc with multiple people on there, you'll be able to start a meeting immediately with those people. So yeah, it's just a lot of things kind of coming together. It does kind of appear here that Google is going to be trying to challenge Apple a little bit more, or Apple trying to be challenging Microsoft a little bit more with their Office suites.
I assume they're going to challenge Apple too. They didn't.
Well, yeah, yeah. But yeah, so no, this is pretty neat. I think we kind of saw this coming as they were like investing a lot more into these technologies that they have. And it's interesting that we've kind of pendulumed back to, okay, we want a suite that does everything instead of a bunch of like one-off things that can talk to each other. So yeah, I mean, this seems pretty cool. I haven't things are going to start rolling out within the next week or so, and will continue to roll out over the coming months. So this isn't going to be like a hard change. I think like the hardest thing for me is going to be seeing the new icons, because I don't necessarily like them that much.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But yeah, so I think this is pretty cool. I think you'll see Microsoft doing something very similar, and they've been trying to do something similar for a while. So maybe this is the push that they need to improve their suite a little bit more to make it a little more user friendly. But yeah, I think this is pretty neat.
Yeah, what I've always liked about like using the Google stuff, like really over anybody, they were really the first major player out there to make it pretty ubiquitous to live edit with other people in real time, a document, and they're kind of extending that further really with this, right? So that You can say, oh, you know what, let's we're already chatting or whatever, let's jam on a document real quick, like live. Okay, boom, let's do that. It just makes sense, right? And so I'm cautiously optimistic that this is going to become a big thing, right? And that it could be a real contender for offices, including our own, to kind of migrate in that direction, because I really do like that capability to collaborate. In fact, we've just been talking about this, so needing to collaborate and tools to do that, and so it's cool to see something more capable for that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, let's be real clear too. Like, this doesn't mean that Microsoft Office is going anywhere anytime soon.
No, they could stop making new versions today, and they would still be like around 20 years from now. I feel like so.
Right, exactly. Like, it's just so ingrained in the business process that like it's going to be around. But this is a neat alternative. I'm not sure if there's going to be a price point on some of this stuff. Like, in order to use features, you'll have to like have some sort of membership, like you do with G Suite. I'm assuming you will, but right. I haven't been able to find anything about that yet. So we'll see if it's going to kind of like roll out a little bit of this stuff for free, and then as they add more complex features, they're going to add in those tiers. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely something I'll be looking at and playing around with, and kind of see what they're going to add over the next few months.
Nice. Speaking of things coming out over the next few months, if you were hoping to get your hands on one of those RTX 3090s or the 3080s that we talked about, really, I think just last week, it's not happening. So it's interesting that so we're having huge supply shortages, and according to their CEO, they're saying this isn't really a supply chain issue. Like they're not blaming it on, oh, this component is hard to get a hold of, so we haven't been able to produce as many. They just couldn't produce as many. Now, this juxtaposed against our prior story of the Apple iPhone launch, in which case, millions of devices are being produced and will be ready. Now, they're going to be in short supply too-ish, right? Artificially, typically. But yeah, not like this. Like literally, you cannot find these things anywhere. But all is not lost. And I think the big news for me falls in this little piece down here where they start talking about the low end 3070, and low end would definitely be in air quotes. We talked about this before, coming in at a price point of $500, which I also assume is going to disappear right off the shelves as soon as they hit. But for the money, for people that are looking for an update to their GPU, this is a great price point for a killer piece of hardware. So, but it looks like we're not going to see that really till the end of October, and maybe not even until 2021, given the way supplies are going. But am I disappointed? Yeah, a little bit, but I can wait. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how quickly eBay is calling me, right? Like, I do want to pay $100 premium for this thing. So,
yeah, this is interesting to me because it just the sheer demand for these cards. Like, I think it's a little naive of Nvidia to say like, oh, we couldn't anticipate this demand with as large of a jump as this was in technology. Yeah, so I don't know, man. That feels like just like kind of a little bit of a cop out for me. Like not saying that like the demand hasn't been insane, because it has been. But when you do have a technological leap like they do with these new 30 cards, like there's just going to be the sheer amount of demand. Like when you come out with a 3070 that's as powerful as the like 2080 Ti, like which is your current most powerful card. Oh, and P.S. it's less than half of the cost. Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, duh. Like, I mean, to me, it's just like, who missed that memo, right? Like, particularly because people are so hungry for GPUs right now because they want better graphics, they want more frames, they want all of this stuff, and then that's not even taking into account any of the like crypto mining stuff that's going on too, right? So, so it's like. I mean, I just have a really hard time like being like, okay, Nvidia, I agree with you. Like there's no way you could have known.
Yeah, I mean, I got up this morning and went into my pantry. Why? Because I was hungry for GPUs. That's what Neil said. Hungry for GPUs. It made me really happy. When you said that, it made me very happy. It's like pop open a box of frosted GPUs, and
That's right.
But yeah, no, the crypto is obviously a big player, and I don't know if it's I have no idea what percentage of the market that really impacts. I could tell you that you and I have had relatively modest, if I'd say minimal interest in crypto until lately, and so there's a little bit more of a mainstreaming of that, and we've talked about that a little bit, and so I mean it's entirely possible that we're just kind of continuing to see like the long tail, so to speak, of kind of crypto mining, and that this is just going to be the way forward, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like you said, that these cards are probably going to sell out day one, the 3070s. I mean, it only took like maybe, I think, for the 3080 and 3090 pre-orders to sell out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, these cards are going to go fast. You better be ready for when they do drop, if you want one soon, because yeah, you are definitely not guaranteed to get one with the demand that there currently is for these cards.
Yeah, and so it's going to be interesting to see what AMD comes out with, because at the end of this month they're doing their event, right, for the kind of Radeon, like the RX series or whatnot. That's supposed to be the direct competitors. So it'll be interesting to see what their price points look like and what their availability looks like.
And even like what the GPU looks like itself too, right? Because like, I mean, it feels like Nvidia knocked this out of the park this year with this line of cards. So I mean, AMD's got to step up and say, "Yep, we're right there with you," right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if this thing, just going back to, if this doesn't, if you don't have a sense of scale, if you have any interest in GPUs and you don't think this thing is huge, do some Googling around to comparison shots of this thing next to, for instance, Neil, you sent me something of it versus the new Xbox, right?
Yeah, it's like just the 3090 is like almost as big as the Xbox, the new Xbox Series X.
It's hard to even understand that. And then I was looking at the picture, like, is this thing photoshopped or something? Like, it's not.
Nope.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of what comes out. And candidly, if AMD's cards have that same sleek and sexiness that which I don't feel like they have ever really had. So
yeah, it'll definitely be an interesting little series here to see who kind of comes out on top with these two, because Nvidia obviously has traditionally like kind of owned that market space, and AMD had just recently kind of felt like they were catching up a little bit, not quite at the same level, but catching up a little bit. And then Nvidia is just like, oh, here you go, like match this, bud.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll definitely be very, very interesting here.
Yeah, it reminds me of the guy with the ghost peppers and the Carolina Reaper, right?
Yeah,
it was like holding on to like the more better batter one just to wait and see if anybody could try to top his peppers. So it's I kind of like, man, what is Nvidia sitting on?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think that's all we got for today. So thank you for joining us on this edition of Tech Talk Tuesday. If you want to read up on any of the things that Matt and I talked about today, you can find them in the description below. Sorry, there will be no Tang down there tonight. Yeah, you like that callback?
That was a good callback.
But while you're down there, go ahead and give us a follow or a subscribe. That way you don't miss any future editions of Tech Talk Tuesday. We go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And how about you tell your friends about us, because we love talking and interacting with the chat. Also, if you have any questions, go ahead and if you have any questions that you want Matt and I to address during another live stream, which I know Matt's making a face and that's a little scary. But yeah, if you would like us to answer any of your tech related questions, just hit up Matt or I on Twitter. Our Twitter handles are down below. And yeah, so thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
I mean, I do still love me some Tang, Neil.
Yeah, That orange drink.